Hello students, myself Ravish. In this class, you are going to study 7th standard 6th chapter Physical and Chemical Change. Students, you may observe different kinds of changes occurring in our surroundings. Example, curdling of milk. Here, milk is converted into curd. The property of milk and curd is not same, it is completely different. Students, it is not possible to convert curd into milk. So, we can say that this change is irreversible. Consider the second example, digestion of food. If we eat the food, what happens? It gets converted into different substances. So, it undergoes different types of chemical changes. Digestion of food is also a change. Objectives of this chapter: to study the physical change, to study the chemical change, to study the difference between a physical and chemical change. Students, you know about matter. Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. For example, it is a matter because it has certain mass and it occupies space. So, we can say that this is a matter, and matter is constantly experiencing both physical and chemical change. As I already told you, milk is a matter, it gets converted into curd. So, like this, any matter constantly experiencing both physical and chemical change. Dear students, you may know about burning of a candle. Let us know how it works. The candle has two parts. One is wax and second one is wick. This wax is in solid state and it is made up of a chemical paraffin. Students, when I light this candle starts to burn. Do you know which is the fuel here? Let us see. This is a wax pot. This wax is made up of paraffin and it is in solid form. If you light the candle, this solid paraffin converted into liquid state, and again that liquid paraffin convert into vapor form. That vapor start to burn and this vapor reacts with oxygen and this flame is formed. So, like this, paraffin acts as a fuel in the candle. Dear students, it is a piece of paper. If I burn it, what happens? Let us see. Now, the material in the paper is going to burn in presence of atmospheric oxygen, and after burning we will see ash of the paper. This ash has the different properties when compared to paper. What are physical properties? A property of a substance that can be observed and measured without changing its chemical nature. Let us observe this paper. It is a matter. This paper has certain properties. Example, this paper has shape. So, it is a property of this paper, and it has certain mass. So, that is also property of this paper. It has white color. It is also property of this paper. Like this, we can observe shape. The shape of this paper is rectangle. So, we can identify these properties easily just by looking at this paper. So, these kinds of properties are called physical properties of matter. Physical properties, example, mass, shape, size, color and state, etc. of a substance are called physical properties of a substance. Physical change. My dear students, let us do an activity. See, it is a paper, it has a rectangle shape and it has certain mass and certain size. If I cut this paper, what happens? It undergo certain change. So, in this change, what you observe here? Now, I have some questions. Is there any change in the property of paper? Yes, there is a change. The observed changes are, there is a change in size of the paper. Second one, there is a change in shape of the paper. And third one, there is a change in mass. Question number 2. Do you observe any chemical reaction here? No. Here there is no chemical reaction. Question number 3. Is any new substance is formed? Students, initially it is a paper, now also it is a paper. There is no change in property of the paper. So, the answer is no new substance is formed here. Students, let us watch this video.
Dear students, here we have ice cubes in this plate and water in this bowl. Is there any difference between these two? Yes, there is a difference between these two. In this plate, water is in solid state. In this bowl, water is in liquid state. If I freeze this water convert into solid state. If I heat these ice cubes, convert into liquid states.
Now, I have some questions regarding this video. Question number 1. Is there any change in the property of water? Yes, sir. There is a change in property of water. What is that change? Yes, there is a change in physical state of water. Initially, water is in liquid state and it is converted into ice. Question number 2. Do you observe any chemical reaction here? No. Here there is just change in physical state of a substance. Here there is no chemical reaction. Question number 3. Is any new substance is formed here? Students, in liquid state the substance is water. In solid state also the substance is water. Here there is no new substance is formed. In both liquid state and solid state the substance is same, that is water. No new substance is formed during the conversion of liquid water into ice. Then come to the definition. By observing this property, can you tell me what is a physical change? Yes, a change in which a substance undergoes a change in its physical properties. In certain changes, a substance undergo change in its physical properties. We already know mass, size, shape, volume, these are some physical properties of substance. If any changes occurs in these properties, then we can say that it is a physical change. So, in this physical change, no new substance is formed. The property of the substance remains retained, and also physical change is generally reversible change. Students, we already know that physical change involves change in mass, change in shape, change in size, change in color and finally change in state. Some example for physical change. Melting of an ice cube. What happens here? Solid water gets converted into liquid state. Boiling of water. What happens here? The liquid water is just converted into gaseous state. Chopping of wood. Here also the property of wood will not change. Dissolving sugar in water. This is also an example for physical change. Here no chemical reaction is involved in dissolving sugar in water. Breaking of glass, there is no chemical change here. Breaking of glass is an example for physical change. Cutting of paper, if you cut the paper, it's just a physical change. Here no chemical reaction is observed, so cutting of paper is also a physical change. My dear students, now come to the topic chemical properties of substances. A property of a substances that can be observed and measured during a chemical reaction is called chemical property. Students, observe here, in this change there will be a chemical reaction. If there is no chemical reaction, there is no chemical change. What are chemical properties? A property of a substance that can be observed and measured during a chemical reaction is called chemical property. Students, to observe this property, we should conduct certain chemical reaction. Without chemical reaction, it is not possible to observe these properties. So, we call these properties as chemical properties. Example for chemical properties: acidity of a substance. Combustion is example for chemical property. Corrosion of a metal, it is an example for chemical property. Students, let us watch this video.
It is a iron nail. It has silvery grey color. We know the symbol for iron, that is Fe. If we kept this iron nail outside for a few days, what happens? This iron nail, this iron, reacts with oxygen and atmospheric moisture, that is water, to give rise to hydrated ferric oxide. It means there is a reddish brown color layer is formed on the surface of the nail. We call this as rust.
Chemical change. Chemical changes involves chemical reaction. Consider an example of rusting of iron. Student, what you observe in that video? Iron gets converted into rust. What happens there? The symbol of iron is Fe. Oxygen is present in the atmosphere. Water content is also present in the atmosphere in the vapor form. If you kept iron piece outside for a few days, what happens? This iron reacts with oxygen and water, gives Fe2O3.H2O. We call this as hydrated ferric hydroxide. This is nothing but rust. Number 1, color changes from silvery grey to brown. Okay. Second one, a new substance is formed. Here iron becomes iron oxide. Third one, chemical reaction takes place between iron, water and oxygen. There is a chemical reaction. Now watch this video, burning of magnesium strip.
Dear scientific students, you know about the metal magnesium. Its symbol is Mg. It is in solid state. The reaction between magnesium and oxygen require heat. If you supply certain amount of heat, magnesium reacts with oxygen and gives a solid material, magnesium oxide. It is a ash of magnesium oxide. During this reaction, certain amount of heat is liberated and the liberated heat the remaining reaction. Let us watch this video of burning of magnesium strip. It is a magnesium strip. It is a tongue. It is a glass plate. Magnesium strip or magnesium ribbon is so handy, you can break it through by hand. We need small amount of magnesium ribbon. Now I want to expose this magnesium ribbon to the flame. Let us see what happens. Now the magnesium strip starts to burn with a dazzling white flame or brilliant white flame. So here the white solid formed here is magnesium oxide and it is the ash of magnesium oxide. Dear students, what you observe here, initially it is magnesium. Now it is magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide is different from magnesium. So a new substance is formed in chemical reaction.
What happens here? You are familiar with the metal magnesium. Its symbol is magnesium and it has silvery white color. When this magnesium reacts with oxygen, it gives magnesium oxide. It's a white ash. Along with it liberates certain amount of heat and light. Important thing is burning of magnesium strip gives a brilliant white colored flame. Here what happens? Magnesium get converted into magnesium oxide. Do you think property of magnesium is same as magnesium oxide? No, it is completely different. In this experiment, what you observe? Yes. So observations of this experiment. Number 1, color changes from silvery white to white color. We know that color of magnesium is silvery white and magnesium oxide is white in color. Second observation, a new substance is formed. Initially it is magnesium. After the completion of reaction, it is magnesium oxide. So in this reaction, heat is evolved. The fourth observation is burns with brilliant white light. It gives dazzling white flame. By this experiment, we can define chemical change as a change in which one or more new substances are formed is called chemical change. I am repeating the statement, a change in which one or more new substances are formed is called chemical change. Students, in the first case, rusting of iron, what happens? Iron gets converted into iron oxide, that is hydrated ferric oxide. So one substance is converted into another substance, a new substance is formed here. In the second case, burning of magnesium ribbon, magnesium gets converted into magnesium oxide. Here also magnesium oxide is a new substance. So we can say that in any change, if any new substance is formed, then that change is a chemical change. So a chemical reaction takes place during chemical change. We can say that chemical change is nothing but chemical reaction. Changes that accompany chemical change. Number 1, heat may be observed or evolved. We observe that in case of burning of magnesium ribbon, heat is evolved. Light may be observed or evolved. In the same case, we observe that magnesium ribbon burns with brilliant white color. Third one, sound may be produced. In some reaction, sound may be produced. Fourth one, a change in smell. If food gets spoiled, what happens? It gives very bad smell. So during chemical reaction, a smell of the compound may be changes. It means smell of the new compound is different when compared to reactant. Fifth one, a color may be changed. In both the cases, rusting of iron and burning of magnesium ribbon, the color of the element gets changed. From color changes from silvery grey to reddish brown color. Burning of magnesium ribbon, the color changes from silvery white to white color. In some chemical reactions, a gas may be liberated. Now come to the topic, crystallization. Students, it is a process in which a substance is solidified from a liquid. If any substance is dissolved in some liquid, in crystallization process, what happens? Atoms or molecules arranged in well defined order to form a solid. Crystallization process is a physical change. Students, how do we prevent rusting? We know that rusting of iron needs oxygen and water. If we prevent iron particles from coming in contact with oxygen or water or both, then we can prevent rusting of iron. How can we do this? It can be done by, number 1, apply a coat of paint or grease on a iron articles. If you do this, this coat of paint or grease prevent that iron article to come in contact with oxygen and moisture content, so that we can prevent rusting. Second one, galvanization. What is galvanization? In this process, we are depositing a layer of zinc on iron. If we deposit this zinc layer on iron articles, that zinc prevent this iron to come in contact with oxygen and water, so that prevent rusting of iron. So far we discussed about what is physical change and what is chemical change. It's the time to differentiate between physical change and chemical change. So in physical change, what happens? Number one, no new substance is formed here. In chemical change, yes, new substance is formed. In physical change, it's a temporary change. Physical change is a temporary change. Second one, in case of chemical change, it is a permanent change. A substance undergo chemical change, we can't able to reverse this process. It undergo permanent change. Number 3, physical change is easily reversible, but chemical change, it is irreversible. Fourth one, a very little amount of heat energy is observed or given out in physical change. Students, any physical change require little amount of energy, or during physical change a little amount of energy is liberated. But in case of chemical change, when compared to physical change, chemical change requires much amount of energy, and sometimes during certain chemical reaction much amount of energy is liberated. So a lot of energy in the form of heat or light or sound is observed or given out in a chemical change. Students, let us have a quiz. Question number 1. Which of the following is a physical change? Option A, rusting of iron. Option B, combustion of magnesium ribbon. Option C, burning of candle. Option D, melting of wax. Come on, tell me. Yes, the answer is melting of wax. How do you get the answer? Dear students, in option A, rusting of iron, what happens here? In this case, iron gets converted into iron oxide. It is a chemical change. Here new substance is formed as iron oxide. In the second case, during combustion of magnesium ribbon, magnesium gets converted into magnesium oxide. Here also new substance is formed. In case of burning of candle, here also the paraffin present in the wax, it gets converted into carbon dioxide. In option D, melting of wax, here the state of the wax gets changes. Option D, melting of wax, here state of the wax gets changed from solid state to liquid state. Question number 2. Which of the following is a chemical change? Option A, twinkling of stars. Option B, cooking of vegetables. Option C, cutting of fruits. Option D, boiling of water. Tell me the answer. Yes, the option is cooking of vegetables. Dear students, in option A, twinkling of stars, here there is no chemical reaction, there will be no new substance formed. In option B, cooking of vegetables, if once vegetable gets cooked, it is not possible to convert cooked vegetable into fresh vegetable. So it is a irreversible change. So we can conclude that cooking of vegetable is a chemical change. In case of option C, cutting of fruits, here also the size of the fruit gets changed. In option D, boiling of water, here what is the change? Here the state of the water gets changed from liquid state to gaseous state. The third question is, Galvanization is a process used to prevent the rusting of which of the following? Option A, iron. Option B, zinc. Option C, aluminum. Option D, copper. Tell me the answer. Yes, the answer is iron. Dear students, you already know that we can prevent rusting of iron by two methods, by surface coating of greases and paint. The second method is galvanization. In this process, we coat zinc metal on the surface of iron so that we can prevent oxygen and water to come in contact with iron to prevent rusting. Question number 4. Which of the following statement is incorrect for a chemical reaction? Option A, heat may be given out but never absorbed. Option B, sound may be produced. Option C, a color change may take place. Option D, a gas may be evolved. Tell me the answer. Yes, the answer is option A, heat may be given out but never observed. This is the wrong statement. In any chemical reaction, there may be absorption of heat or liberation of heat. Option A state that heat may be given out, never observed. It is wrong statement. In any chemical reaction, heat may be observed or liberated. Option B is correct because in any chemical reaction, option B, option C and option D, these things accompany a chemical reaction. Dear students, take down the assignments. Question number 1. Classify the following processes into physical or chemical changes. Option A, beating of aluminum metal to make aluminum foil. Option B, digestion of food. Option C, cutting of a log of wood into. Option C, cutting of a log of wood into pieces. Option D, burning of crackers. Let us move on to the next question. What color of flame is observed when magnesium ribbon burnt in air? Next question. Is souring of milk a physical change or a chemical change? Why? We should eat freshly cut apple. Why? In addition to the formation of new products, what changes do the chemical changes accompany? Dear students, in this class you have learned that what is a chemical change and some examples for chemical change, what is a physical change and few examples for physical change, and difference between a physical change and chemical change. What is crystallization? What is rusting? How can we prevent rusting of iron? Dear students, myself Ravish, Assistant Teacher, Science and Mathematics, GHPS Chikbidirkallu, Bangalore North 1. All the best. Thank you for listening.